Hey everyone, and welcome back to my one-stop guide series. In this series I do hero and map guides, and I explain as much as I can about heroes and battlegrounds to explain how you can get the most out of your play. Blackheart's Bay is a somewhat complicated map that can be won in many different ways, and it is my goal to try and teach you as much as I can so that you will have a better success rate on this map. Now I have prepared this presentation to explain you about it, and we're going to run through the contents page to see exactly what you can be expecting. In my previous guides I've always finished the guide with a game at the end of it. This time I've opted not to do it, and it's going to be a rather informative guide purely based on the presentation and everything that I wanted to explain about this map. So without further ado, let's take a look at the contents page. We're going to be talking about how this map in general works, how you can win it, various different knowledge, tips and tricks on this map, something about experience gain which can be applied to any map, which should be understood when you're making complicated decisions, how to do a good draft for instance in Hero League or maybe even in competitions, and once you see what draft you have, how to use it to your advantage. Not every game is won the same way. There are many roads to Rome, and sometimes you need to use strategy to your maximum advantage to get the best out of it. Finally, we're going to go through some scenarios with screenshots of my own games where you may not know the outcome before, but you're going to have to choose from 3 or 4 or 2 multiple choice options to see exactly what you think the team should be doing. Then we're going to look at what they've done and whether that's a good decision or not. Let's start with the map objective. Basically, on Blackheart's Bay you collect the balloons, you turn them in, and the pirate captain starts shooting cannonballs at the opponent. And this can explode their fortresses without any other human intervention on your side. That seems pretty simple. Then the game objective. Normally we're looking to destroy the enemy core. You can do this by turning in enough doubloons enough times. You can also attack in a vanilla fashion, where you just attack with heroes, mercenary camps, or lane minions, or summoned creatures. And if you want to combine the two, and you want to do some vanilla damage and some payments, it is advisable to take down easy to destroy buildings first, easy to destroy by your own allied heroes, so that the pirate captain doesn't waste any cannonballs on such objectives. For instance, a Moonwell has very little hit points, but it will still take a full cannonball. It's much better spent on something which has more intrinsic risk attached to it, like you attacking a keep is much more risky than you attacking an exposed Moonwell. So if that final cannonball instead destroys a keep, maybe even prevents it from getting repaired by a call down mule ability, then that would be a big advantage, and more about this later. Now we get to a pretty extensive part of this guide. Knowledge, tips and tricks on this map, and there are a lot, and I'm sure I didn't cover everything absolutely, but I tried my best. I worked for quite a few days on this guide, and I also want to thank Palindrome and Agarbombs, moderators from my stream chat, who have also helped create this guide with me. Alright, where are the coins? As we can see here, we can see every little skull camp, every little hexagon with a skull in it is where you can find a mercenary camp. The 4 in the most middle are doubloon camps. They are defended by 2 skeletons and they're relatively easy to destroy. The top is a boss. Bottom middle and the top right and top left are bruiser camps, and you've got siege giants bottom right and bottom left. So there's a lot of camps, and each one drops 2 coins. A lot of coins to be collected. This leaves for a total of 10 coins at the top half of the map, 10 coins at the bottom half of the map, and another 2 chests that spawn with 10 coins as well, 5 each. A lot of coins. When do they spawn? Well, the first chest will always spawn at 50 seconds, one at the top and one at the bottom. When does the second chest spawn? I've searched for some information on the interwebs, but as of today, which is about the third quarter of this month of June 2015, I haven't found conclusive evidence about it yet. So I did some research and launched up some replays and then some more. And I found that, well, unless it is really somewhere out there, it is not quite determined. I've seen the second chest phase spawn at 3 minutes. I've seen it spawn at 4 minutes. I've even seen it spawn at 5 minutes and 14 seconds once. As far as I can tell, it is roughly 2 to 3.5 minutes after the chest has been picked up. Maybe 2:30, 3 minutes. But if you make an early turn-in and you pay enough coins to make the pirate launch cannons, that seems to be an exception that delays the second chest phase. Third chest phase, one can only imagine, is much the same. So we were actually paying around minute 3, minute 4, and that's why I think it only spawned at 5 minutes and 14 seconds, the second chest phase. That's something to be remembered. If anyone does know the exact timing, please put it in the comment section and I'll update it to the description. Blackheart Pirate spawns at 1 minute and 15 seconds himself, which is usually exactly around when both chests have been taken. Mercenary camp spawn times, you can see them here as well, may be of interest. Now, how do you actually get a complete fort on your first turn in? Every time that you pay the full doubloons to the pirate captain, at first it will cost 10 coins, then it will cost you 12, then 14, 16 and so forth. The same formula is used for the opponent. It always costs 2 coins more respectively for each team. Now if you make a full turn in, you will always shoot 12 cannonballs. And it will take about 2 shots on a tower, 2 shots on a gate, 1 shot on a moonwell, and then there's another tower in the back, and then there's a fort. Fort requires about 5 shots. The cannon will just not finish the fort. It will be left with exactly as much HP as you see on this screenshot if you do not do any vanilla siege damage. However, it has been long known to be a common knowledge, a common tip, that if you kill 1 tower in the middle fort before turning in, then the entire fort will be destroyed. And it will take down all the buildings there, moonwell, fort, and all 3 towers. Well, all 2 towers that are remaining and the gate. However, it's not necessarily needed to take it down all the way to 0. You can also do enough damage on both towers that they both only require 1 shot. That will also save 2 shots and the fort will definitely perish. That's something to be remembered. It can be enough to just do like 20-25% damage to the tower, both towers in the front, and it will take down the fort as well. Now this can be a big benefit because once again it's much easier to tickle a little bit of damage. You can even do a few moonfires, a roach drop, or you know, Tychus doing a grenade on it, even with melting point, whatever. All of this is much easier and less risky than to push all the way in to destroy this fort that you see right here. Alright, how do the cannons actually operate? The pirate captain will always start by bombarding the enemy middle fort. After taking down the middle fort, he would then move on to the top fort and then to the bottom fort finally. And for the keeps it is much the same thing. It will go for the mid keep, then the top, then the bottom. You can keep this in mind when making some decisions, and we'll get more to this later. Now, when he attacks a fort or a keep, he always does it in this order. He attacks 1 tower, then another tower, then the gate, which has already sustained some splash damage from the cannons. Then he will shoot the moonwell, and he will also start scanning, always in phases of 3 shots. He will also start scanning the back tower as well as the fort. And he does the fort and tower alternatingly. One on this, one on this, one on this, like that. And again, something to be remembered. Now, some gameplay advice on Blackheart's Bay. I see Blackheart's Bay as a time is money map. Anything that you can do to delay your opponent is going to result in you being able to capture more mercenary camps, more coins, and then have more coins to pay in. Again, if they're distracted and they have to do some wave clear because of something you've done, allows you to have a numerical advantage. For instance, you have all your 5 people at the pirate to pay, and the opponent can only dedicate 4 people to interrupt you from paying. And that would mean that you potentially can say, okay, we stopped paying, we have 5 versus 4, we see your guy somewhere in the top lane clearing minions, so we're gonna engage and initiate in a 5 versus 4. You may be able to get some kills, maybe steal some coins, and then once again go back to pay. So once you go to pay, it doesn't mean that you have to finish paying. You can see, is it to my advantage to instead force a fight? So anything that you stage somewhere on the map to do vanilla damage is time purchased for you, and that's money. So mercamp captures, lane pushes, delaying tactics, distractions, and if you are very quick at wave clearing, and maybe they are not, all of this results in positive siege damage, vanilla damage to be done. And you know, you try to pay as 5 and they try to depush you, you can keep pretending to pay safely in a defensive position if you know that somewhere on the map you've got mercenary camps pushing. Always take a look before you start a fight to see, do we need to do this? Is time on my side or is time on their side? You take a quick look at the minimap, you see, oh, we have bruisers pushing at bottom, siege giant pushing at top. If we drag this out, supposedly to infinity, that's going to be amazing for us. So then you know we don't need to hard engage. In fact, we may need to adjust our mentality a little bit to stay back and to push the other away if we have something for it, like force wall, earthquake, gust of wind from Falstad, mighty gust I think it's called, maybe just poking damage, which requires them to lick their wound, heal, and wait before they go in again. Maybe even they need to go back for mana. So a lot of tactics here. Now, about paying coins. You can pay coins early for additional bonus experience points, because every tower that gets taken down gives you 400 XP, 800 XP and so forth, and the fort gives something like 1200 XP, I believe. So if you get a very early turn in, for instance, you were somehow able to secure all 10 coins from the chest, or maybe you were able to secure 5, but you got 2 doubloon camps, you have 9, you got the siege giant, 11, you managed to pay because you got a pick off on the enemy hero, well, then you're going to get some bonus XP, and you're going to be, for instance, level 8 already when they're level 7. Maybe you'll reach level 10 when they're level 8.9. So all of this can be used again to have map control and to leverage more advantages. So this can be an argument to pay early. However, you can also choose to pay late for maximized benefits. For instance, you say, I have 10 coins, we can pay, but we will choose not to pay. Why? Why would we choose not to pay? Well, the opponent knows you have 10 coins. Maybe they think you will go to pay. Maybe they have to dedicate 1 or 2 guards to Blackheart, the pirate, and make sure that you don't pay. So they're gonna hide there in that little smoke screen, and they're gonna say, well, we don't want you to pay, we're gonna keep this guy here. And you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna keep doing more mercenary camps. Again, you're using the threat of paying as a distraction to buy time for you to do something which also has value. So instead of risking an all-out calamity, an all-out engagement, bedlam at the pirate in a 5 versus 5, we have to pay now. You say, well, they must be feeling very uncomfortable with the fact that we're holding so many coins, so we're going to do something else instead. Counterintuitive, going to merc camp when you already have 32 coins, but you know they're going to be hella nervous about you paying over and over. So they have to dedicate people there. Unless, of course, they come and creep jack you and they come with the 5 and they capture the Illidan who's trying to get even more coins. That requires some intelligence, right? There's another situation where you can choose to pay later. If you've only killed the middle keep, for instance, the opponent has 2 keeps, the top and the bottom. Middle keep is dead. And for instance, you have 5 people alive and you have killed 2 of them. So you're 5 versus 3. If you pay now, as I said, the order is top keep gets attacked before the bottom keep by the cannons. You can choose to pay, you have full map control, the enemy is on the defensive. If you pay now, the cannons will shoot, kill the top keep. You still have map control, they're still dead. You go to take the boss attacks from the top lane, goes to the core and scratches the shields. But he barely doesn't break through the shields. Because the opponents were kiting back the boss all the way home. And the last 2 members of the team were finally revived again. So what did the boss really do? You took it away from the opponent, but it's more like you were a bully. You took the cheese from the other guy's sandwich and you threw it to the floor. No one will have the boss. Yeah, sure, you took 2 coins and a little bit of experience points, but that's about it. Now, how about the following situation? First you get the boss, even though it seems counterintuitive. You have all these coins, it feels risky. You can pay now, maybe the opponent can even pay with the 3 guys when they notice that all 5 of you are missing. But you can even do this. You send 4 people to the boss, you capture it, and you have 1 guy poking at the pirate. If they are foolish enough to try and interrupt or even try to pay with the 3 of them, the one guy is like, everyone, get in here! And he's like bringing the 4 guys back, you initiate, maybe you kill more. It's risky for them, you know? Maybe he can just buy enough time without dying, even for you to get the boss and collapse back upon the middle. Now the boss is strong enough to kill the top keep, but again, not nearly strong enough to even scratch the shields from the core. Now when you pay, after it, your cannonballs will destroy the bottom keep, which is the hardest to assault keep, because you have to come through a bridge. So you were able to get both keeps, and now the boss had much more value, so it was useful to delay your payments. Alright, more gameplay advice. Consider not pushing into the enemy in general, either to force team fights at equal talent levels, or even to attack into their keep when you have small, mediocre, marginal, adequate advantages. For instance, you are 5 versus 4, you're level 15 versus 14, and you think maybe we can attack a keep. Maybe sometimes yes, you can, but it's a little bit risky. And you're holding all these coins, it's risky. You can win this map in full PvE mode, quote unquote, supposedly. So consider not doing it. You can win this map by continually capturing mercenary camps, collecting coins, putting pressure with the merc camps on the opponent, and going to pay over and over, even though it keeps getting more expensive. So long as you don't slip up and make any mistakes, and you stick together fairly well, or split with good map vision, then you can do a very map controlling game style where team fights are not absolutely crucial. For instance, you have Azmodan, you know, Sylvanas, whatever. You're doing a lot of siege pressure on the opponent. They keep busy trying to wave clear all this stuff, and it allows you to pay. And if they try to interrupt, you might have numerical advantage in terms of heroes. And all these distractions can give you favorable engagements. So sometimes I take Abathur or Azmodan on Blackheart, which are both pretty great. And someone will be like, we can't win team fights with this. And then I say, do we need to? But you know, there's not much time to talk in drafts and with random people that you're playing with. So I hope maybe they watch this and get the idea there's more than one way to roam. The watchtower significance, generally don't try to 5 versus 5 for it in the beginning. It's quite nice having the watchtower, but it doesn't really get you anything besides info. The info might be, you're about to get ganked, but if you're playing safe, you may not get ganked anyway. Whereas fighting for the watchtower may surely get you ganked and killed and have a very bad early start, and you lose map control, and it's quite important to have map control on this map. So see who has the better team in the beginning, and then don't fight for it if you don't have it. Zagara, Sylvanas, Tychus, Azmodan, really quick at busting a chest. Withering Fire works on it, March of Sin, I mean the All Shall Burn from Azmodan works on it, you know, Tychus has a very quick minigun, so consider using them to quickly bust the chest, get the coins. And finally, Mule is absolutely amazing on this map, because the cannonballs will eventually destroy the core. One full turn in brings the core from 100% with shields to about 30%, which is very easy to finish off for any team. So Mule stops that inexorable advance of those cannonballs on your forts, keeps, and eventually your core. Alright, how experience works. Basically, here is how much everything gives in terms of experience. And you keep getting more experience as you destroy keeps. So you can see if you're able to take down several forts with vanilla pressure, saving those cheap turn-ins of doubloons to kill keeps, that gives you more experience, and they're also normally riskier to attack. So just some data about XP, feel free to pause and read it if you want, or take a screenshot. And there's also some underdog bonuses in terms of XP, which shows that it's even more sensible not to force team fights. Even when you're ahead, you can just keep paying, because if you do lose a guy, you get a lot of comeback bonus XP. Here is some creep XP. There's not much to talk about, I already wrote it down, so just read it and use it to your advantage. Same thing here. Pause, screenshot as you wish. Drafting on Blackheart's pay. Now, what I'm not going to talk about is whether heroes are in general strong, whether they are tier 1, tier 2 or tier 5. God tier or trash tier. Certainly there are sometimes heroes which are popular in the meta, They may even be objectively strong, and the complete opposite. They may be objectively weak, and sometimes they do get used in competitions. Just now, competitions were won with a Nova, competitions were won with a Lily, with Asmodan. Even a Gazlo almost won a game, and Raynor has been seen as well. All these heroes which were not until recently found to be very popular. Sure, there are relative strengths, but I want this guy to be possible to be used later as well, even when there might be patch changes. So I'm only going to speak in terms of, are they generally better, relatively better. So, high mobility and self-sufficient heroes which are good at merc camps are extra good on this map. If they can fight when get caught, that is even better. Because Gazlo is good at doing merc camps, but if he gets caught, usually he's dead. So he's good and bad. Heroes with strong wave clear, very good, buys you a lot of time. Heroes with strong pushing abilities buys you a lot of time as well. And then finally, heroes that can safely zone and interrupt payments at the pirate captain, which by the way takes 7 seconds. It takes 7 seconds to turn in the balloons, and cannons will shoot for a duration of roughly 30 to 42 seconds. And it kind of depends how much the pirate needs to scan. Sometimes he knows, okay, I want to shoot the entire middle fort. It takes him only 32 seconds or so. But if he's like, okay, I shoot middle fort, and he's like, oh yeah, top fort, you can see that the scanning takes more time. 30 to 40 seconds, roughly. So anyway, to interrupt someone, which needs 7 seconds to pay, you can use Sentinel from Tyrande, you can use Globe of Annihilation from Asmodan, you can put a roach drop near it, the roaches start attacking him, Beetles from Anubarak. There's a lot of heroes that can safely deny, and then there's some heroes that can't. Vala may be able to multi-shot, but maybe she's very easy to catch after that, or a Jaina, level 12 Jaina. She does a frostbolt, okay, but now you may die for it, and then it wasn't worth it. So, safely zoning. Taking no damage and finishing merc camps quickly, there are a few heroes who are pretty good at it. I want to group Gazlo with that as well, but also Illidan, Viking, Savannah, Sonya and Zagara. Relatively better on Blackhearts, because a lot of the map can be won just by doing a lot of merc camps, wave clear and putting pressure like this. These heroes are excellent at it. And again, even though Illidan is high in the meta and Sonya is relatively low, that may change. And you know what? It will change. Sonya is still a good pick, relatively better on Blackheart's Bay for that reason. Bribe is for the same reason good. If you don't sacrifice something else which is very valuable, like for instance Nazeebo, he sacrifices Death Ritual. This is a very valuable talent on him that gives him more mana and HP permanently for every lane minion he kills. But Brightwing, Murky and Raynor can sacrifice the level 1 talent for Raiders recruitment or Bribe on Murky and Brightwing and get a really good pressure like that. Still, I want to say that Brightwing and Murky are the more popular ones in that order for this ability. You know, Raynor, you would like to maybe have the healing more, give me more talent, or Seasoned Marksman. But still, you can get some playstyle with that. And then there is the knowledge that the opponent might be doing merc camps, and you may be wanting to interrupt, kill them, make them stop and disengage, yeah, or force a whole fight there. Great heroes for this are Brightwing and Valstad, because they can jump in from the top or middle lane and go help at the enemy siege giant if your friendly Zeratul has seen that there's something shady going on there. So these heroes have a lot more value here as well. Zeratul and Nova because they can sneak around and catch people either with themselves or call in more help. And Abathur because he can jump on any hero that finds an opponent. And he can also jump on any hero that needs protection with Symbiote. Which is why Abathur is so good on Blackheart's Bay as well. And also because it's very vanilla, siege, push, focus. Because that all helps with better turn-ins. Then any hero with a strong wave clear can buy time for the team, which means more grouping. Sometimes one hero will need to branch off to stop that siege giant push at the bottom keep. And then he needs to come back in there and do a 5 versus 5 with the pirate, because 1, there are no other objectives anymore, for instance, hypothetically. 2, both teams are at the same level. And 3, both teams don't have any merc push except that one. And finally, both have a lot of coins. So, like, you have to fight sometimes. And there's nothing else. You can wait, but then the opponent will pay. It may be your keep that dies or theirs, so maybe you have to fight. So if they have one siege giant push there happening, you would like the 4 guys to keep interrupting without dying. The 5-man team would like to initiate on the 4-man team so long as they see that the 1 guy went away. But if that 1 guy has unstable poison with Sylvanas and barbed shot, he will only take 3 seconds to clear it, and he may be able to be back on time. This is why a strong wave clear is also very important, because you're gonna get better grouping. Have you ever seen that Uther or Lily or Tyrande who has been left to her own devices and has to do the mercenaries clear herself? It takes ages, it's painful to see. So all these heroes have great wave clear and are relatively better for that reason. Finally, strong lane pushers, right? Sylvanas with Barbed Shot, you've got Brightwing with Promote, Nazeebo Tassadar can get Promote, Azmodan has General of Hell Promote. Now, we did see that in the unconfirmed patch notes, Promote and Bound Minion may be nerfed a little bit. It's still going to be good, not as good, but it still roughly counts. It still adds a lot of strong lane push. Abathur's entire skill set is geared towards it. Zagara, Murky, Vikings. Now, some take a little bit more risk because they need to physically put their body there, whereas others can do it with low risk heroes like Murky Viking or even Azmodan with the global trait, General of Hell with Bound Minion. Some heroes have escape, some don't, so there are different rewards and I kind of evaluated them here and put them down. Then, strong global presence. The following heroes, they can jump in either with Symbiote or with a heroic or with a mount ability or with global presence, because Zeratul Nova have implied global presence. They don't really have it, but it's implied because the opponents often don't know where they are. So this can also change an enemy team's playstyle. Finally, understanding your draft that you have and using it to win. Very important. It is not good for your mentality or your teammates to complain in a draft why you can't win now, because look, this is our team. Oh, the opponent has Tyrael, Nubarak, Uther, Illidan and Jaina. They're gonna jump on us, they're gonna win every fight. We have Azmodan, Gazlo. You know, I won some crazy games on Blackheart's Bay. There was this one draft I was playing with my girlfriend and we had seen that our allies picked Gazlo, Nova. No, they picked Gazlo and Azmodan and Sonya, and we were like, what is going on? Or it was like Brightwing, Azmodan, Sonya, something like this. And we're like, okay, you want to do a troll comp? Let's go full troll. I took Nova. No, I took Zeratul. Girlfriend took Nova. So we have double cloak and double specialist and Brightwing. It's like, if you want to throw the game, if you want to be crazy, let's go crazy. And it worked out wonderfully. We put a lot of merc pressure with Azmodan and Gazlo, and in the meantime, we were sniping off people with double cloaked hero. So this map works out differently sometimes. So you must understand what you have and use it to win. First of all, in the beginning, understand that going for both chests is greedy. That greed may be possible if you understand why it works. But oftentimes it is risky to commit 3 to the top and 2 to the bottom. You'll lose one of them. Like you just might as well have been in the lane if you know you're gonna lose 3 versus 4, right? Like you can do 1, 1, 3, and then you know you'll probably get the bottom. Okay, don't try to get the top 2, right? Oftentimes you see that one guy moving to the chest anyway. It's like, it's like, no, you're gonna die. Stay in the lane. So go only for one chest. Have a goal with how you split. You can do 2, 1, 2. You can do 1, 1, 3. You can do 4, 0, 1, and then 0, 4, 1. 4 in the general top 2 lanes and 1 at the bottom. Understand your role. If there's one guy at the bottom and he sees the enemy has 4 at the top, he knows he's 1 versus 1. Understand if your hero is better than the opponents at level 1 and 2. Then you will know whether you should get the coins. Then finally, in the advanced early game, designate 1 or multiple heroes to do merc camps. It is not good to just keep playing and laning without getting merc camps. It starts being a decisive decision. It starts being something that really makes something happen by getting your own bruisers, getting your own siege giants. This buys time, it disrupts the enemy formation, and also opens up abilities to assassinate. You know how hard it is to reliably and safely force a kill 4 versus 4 lane? It's like, it's pretty random how it's gonna happen, especially in like random hero league. So Start doing something decisive and then use that to open up opportunities. If you don't have map control, try to also play off that. Understand when you will have map control. Use power spikes, don't throw too much. Don't be like, whoa, we have to stop them paying. For instance, you have Kael'thas, Azmodan, Lily and Raynor. 4 heroes which are amazing in late game. Amazing. Kael'thas, Lily, Azmodan, Raynor. They're all great at level 20. Not so much at level 1. The opponent has Kerrigan, Tychus, Arthas. They're all great at level 1. So understand that once you get level 10, you're going to get a lot of additional benefits. So it's okay to be level 9.2 versus 10. It's okay to let the opponent pay once. Because if you'd also try to stop them and still fail, then you will be further behind. So understand when your power spikes are. And don't say, we must stop the opponent from doing everything and we must win everything all the time. There's even, sports strategy is also like, let's let the enemy soccer team attack for 70 minutes and then we're going to counterattack when they're tired. You know, there's lots of different early, late game, mid game spike. Understand them and use them to your advantage. How to finish games on Blackheart's Bay. There's several different options. You can rush their core. I think did I misspell secretively? No, it's fine. You can rush their core. You can wait for them to make a movement mistake and lose a member of their team. For instance, the lonesome Lily thought that she can clear bottom wave, and you see her, and you know the other 4 members are at the top, and you're 5 people in the middle. What are you gonna do? You know, you go to Lily, kill her. So you wait. You can wait for that, and this opens up opportunities to do other things. You can do a 5 versus 5 fight, but having advantageous position, hero levels. Or it's 5 versus 5, you have same hero level, same positioning, but you know that the median effect, the expected outcome is that you both lose 3 members, and you happen to already have captured boss. Then you know why you're doing it. You know that the boss is pushing down the enemy lane, and if you both lose all members of your team in a final, 4 already dead, the last 2 guys shoot, boop, both dead, it's technically a draw, but it's assuredly a victory because the boss is now uncontended, killing a keep. So, there's many different kinds of advantageous situations. Always we must ask ourselves, why do we fight? And you must have a good answer. You can also let the map objective kill them for you, so you just keep paying and map controlling. And finally, you can also swarm them with mercenaries. This is the good old, actually a strategy I like a lot. Try to kill as many keeps as possible. Keep putting pressure, which forces them to dedicate heroes to the defenses. Now we're going to go through some scenarios. We're reaching the end of this guide, and I just wanted to show a few screenshots of scenarios from real games, and I want you to think about, you can pause the video, or not. I want you to think about which of the multiple choice you would choose, and then I'm going to show you what happened, what I think should have been chosen, and whether that really is what happened. So, scenario 1 is a game that you see right here. It is in advanced stages of the game, 18 minutes and 44 seconds. We see both are level 21. We can see that both teams have 2 keeps. We see that the red team has just paid, and there's 5 more cannonballs going to the top keep, which is probably going to be enough to kill it. And we also see that the red team has 21 coins, and the other team has 19 coins. And so both can pay once it comes up. We are currently focusing on the vision of the red team with the fog of war on, and we do not see where the blue team is. And the colors will change later, but let's say the Azmodan team and the Abathur team. The Azmodan team sees nothing about where the Abathur team is. So what do you think should be done here? We're going to we actually see, this is not the question yet, we're going to see that actually if you look through the tab you see trap them has been said. So we're trying to trap them. The Azmodan team is trying to trap the Abathur team, who had already set a trap, see? We thought we'll go to the pirate. We see only one objective on the map, which is the siege giant. Maybe they're there. Maybe the opponent team, the Abathur team, is at the siege giant. And then they come to the pirate, which would mean we have initial positioning and can trap them. Unfortunately, Lily is not the best tank in the EU or NA, and actually goes to die. Rough one. Lily is already dead. As you can see, death timer 60 seconds, and the Abathur team is in a hot pursuit. You can see the hive mind there on Tassadar, Muradin, Illidan metamorphosing, and we're in full retreat. And we actually end up web blasting the Illidan. They just finished the cannonballs, and it has not killed the keep yet. Lily is now at a 13-second death timer. We have survived the onslaught without any more losses. And now we need to start to reevaluate what do we do. They have paid because they chased us away, and you remember they had 19 coins, so they paid again. And this is going to kill our top keep. We're going to have one keep, and the opponent is having 2 keeps. As you can see, the team fights have not been going our way as much. We have 8 kills, they have 13. And if you think of what our vision is, we have vision top right because of minion wave. Middle, they have been clashing exactly where Muradin and Rhaegar is. We also currently occupy the watchtower, so you can assume safely that we see Muradin and Illidan on the map, somewhere at the top. So the question is going to come up, what should we do? Once again, you see they paid all their coins into the pirates, and we have 21 coins, and we see where they are. And they see where we are because the bottom lane was clashing at where you see a Nubarak at the bottom. It is nowhere at the bottom. What should the left side team do, the Azmodan team? Should we clear the waves on the bottom lane and attempt to take the enemy siege giants and pressure their bottom keep? Or should we wait for Lily to come back, keep or take the watchtower vision, and then zone out the boss? We see they are making attempts maybe on taking the boss. Do we wait 15 seconds, go near the watchtower and try to take the watchtower, scout to see if they're doing the boss? Or do we go for the bottom bruiser camp, regroup with Lily, and then attempt to pay? This means that we would allow them to take their siege giants or the boss, whichever they're choosing. Or do we do something else? Think about it for a bit. You can pause and we're going to play now and see. I think the correct answer is clear the wave on the bottom lane, attempt to take their giants, and then pressure the bottom keep. There are several advantages to this. We can of course be safe about it. If they're doing the siege giant, they're probably not doing it with all 5 because we saw several people up there. Tassadar is the only one that we did not see. And maybe Rhaegar would go back to the bottom, or Illidan or whatever. Maybe we catch 1 or 2 people there at their siege giant. We also end up taking one of their camps. We can't really be too aggressive. If we go to the watchtower and we try to take it, or we try to zone out the boss, there's a small chance that we'll be embroiled in a 4 versus 5 fight, because Lily simply isn't back yet. They may also finish the boss before we get there anyway. So it's a little bit risky. Maybe they get the boss and we are there in position. They force a fight, boss does a lot of damage on our core. And we've got all these coins, 21 coins, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I think it's the right choice to clear the waves, create vision, make them lose their vision. They don't know what we're doing. Maybe they think we'll go for Bruiser Camp, which seems the most obvious, it's on the way. And then Siege, or Siege and then Bruiser. Either way, it's relatively safe for them. They're going to get a boss pretty big advantage. So this is the decision. Actually, they're still doing the boss, and there's the Azmodan clearing waves. Lily is just back. Azmodan is still stacking up his Globe of Annihilation. And Anubarak and Raynor and Sylvanas are there, and they're clearing more vision, clearing more waves. And we haven't seen the enemy on Siege Giants. We have vision of it. Azmodan is being not assaulted. We knew that they recently took Watchtower and then went top, because look at how our minion wave is. It's all the way at Tassadar. We see him there too. So we're absolutely confident they're doing the boss. And suddenly, we realize that there is another decision to be made. We notice the lack of enemy pressure. We make a mad dash towards the enemy core. There were the 3 objectives. We knew that they could only be at the boss. They were not contesting either the pirate or the giants or the bruiser. It was actually turning out to be a secondary decision that worked out. They just captured the boss. And there we have excellent heroes at actually sieging. Even though we lost most of the team fights, and we have less keeps, fewer keeps, we have Automaton and Rainer, and they're great at killing the core. They were too slow to respond, and we win the game. Pretty cool. Scenario number 2, another game. We have the, let's say, the Vala team and the Illidan team. Now, the Illidan team just lost their ETC. And Illidan would love to pay us 10 coins. And we take a look at the minimap and we see Brightwing is pushing bottom left and Abathur is somewhere top right. Kael'thas is approaching the middle, but all 5 members of the blue team are right here and attacking Illidan. We see Illidan has 10 coins. We have another 4 and 1 on Abathur and Brightwing. It would be enough if Abathur dares to pay here, but remember, ETC is dead. The Vala team has 15 coins, which is more than enough to pay. And that's what they came here to do. They know they have a numerical advantage. And they would like to ideally pay quickly and then deal with that annoying Brightwing push at the bottom with the Siege Giants, the Minion Wave and Brightwing herself. Now, what do you think should be done? Do you think Illidan being caught here should metamorphosis away from the enemy like any sane person would? Wait for ETC to come back. Let the left side team, the Vala team, pay once. We're almost level 16, get level 16 and then fight a 5 versus 5. Or do you think that Illidan, with the most insane case of blue balls, should get everyone in here to fight and use the level lead, which would soon be 16 but not quite yet, and do a 4 versus 5, forcing payment or a fight, or something else? The correct answer is to metamorphosis away immediately. It is risky here to engage, we don't have the level 16 talents yet, and ETC is dead. Instead, Illidans will be Illidans, and he metamorphoses in the middle of everyone. Now there are a few redeeming factors to this decision though. We can see that Vala and Nubarak are very low on mana. We can also see that Tyrande already has half-life. And there is a great Phoenix and Flame Strike potential for the Kael'thas player. Furthermore, Brightwing can jump in, and she actually spec'd into Emerald Wind, which in this case is more useful than Blink Heal. It is perfect for the kind of teleportation on allies. And the opponents are clustered together thinking they have a sure kill. They already used a bunch of their cooldowns, and Illidan also has Abathur's support. Illidan jumps in, gets a big shield and big maximum boost from everything. There's a Phoenix here, Emerald Wind, the opponent gets pushed apart, and it is hard for them to focus someone down. And in the aftermath, many members get taken down. 3 members are down, and Nubarak and Sylvanas escape by the skin of their teeth. And even though it was a bad decision, I think, it worked out anyway. And it wasn't that bad, because the conditions for the fight were really good, in the sense that perfect Metamorphosis, perfect Phoenix, perfect Emerald Wind, and there was higher level. So there was a missed Wailing Arrow. So this led to a less than ideal situation, usually still salvaged pretty well. The safest maybe would be to Metamorphosis away. We also have a great buffer line still, there's a lot of forts up. It worked out. I won't say it's correct, but maybe because of the skill of the player or the luck of the situation, or exactly very quickly deciding what to do. I hope that you found this useful, I hope that you found it enjoyable. Blackheart's Bay one-stop guide here. Thanks so much for watching, and please give a subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll see when I'm uploading more guides. There's a lot more guides coming up. Hope you're looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving me your time, and see you next time. Bye-bye.